Guys, we are Lifetime Success Seminars. My name is Charles Stephen, alongside Stephen Buraganya, and we are co-hosts of Lifetime Success Seminars. And what is Lifetime Success Seminars, you may ask? We run a series of programs. Currently, we do them on Zoom, and we do it every other Saturday. And we raise conversations in our communities to do with personal development. So anything to do with health, fitness, lifestyle, business, finance, relationship, family, any of those things. Those are the things that we raise conversations on and really challenge the community to really do better in those areas. So that's what we do, and like I said, we do it every other Saturday. And so we raise different topics. We've had topics on finance, we've had topics on business, we've had topics on family. The other time we had a topic on properties. George was alluding to that area. And so we raise all these different conversations. Sometimes we have conversations amongst ourselves. Sometimes we have special guests that come along and present these topics. Sometimes we have debates even. There are times we've sat here and really had a very heated debate on certain issues, but it's all to try and raise this conversation and really stimulate our minds to have conversations that are really important to us that we normally wouldn't have them anywhere else. So in a nutshell, that's who we are and that's what we do. This week, I'm really excited. We have a fantastic topic today, and it's about the power of first impressions and how to really create a really good first impression in whatever thing you do and wherever that you go. And Stephen will be doing that presentation, but it's not a one-way conversation. Right? It's not just going to be Stephen talking and talking and talking and talking. I hope this is going to be a really rich and interactive discussion that we're going to have, because we all have experiences with forming opinions on people, with people forming opinions on us. So we're really going to share our experiences on that and how we can really improve in that area. So I'm really excited on this, and I really hope we're going to have a really good meeting. We have a chat section, so please make sure we use that as much as possible. So whether it's myself or anybody else or Stephen during presentation, he says something that really resonates with you and you feel like, wow, that's really nice, you want to say something about it, you can put it in the chat section as it goes. Or if you have a question, you can put it in the chat section, or anything for that matter. We want that chat section to be very interactive and conversations to keep going as we continue. And as I've been mentioning before, if you can put your TV on, your camera on, that would be fantastic, because it makes for a better meeting and better interaction. Because when you see someone's face, facial expressions, really important. Okay, so they all play a role in making those first impressions, isn't it? So so yeah. So if you can have your screen on, that would be fantastic. If you can't, we also understand. Sometimes you're in a position where you can't do that, but as soon as you can, please do that, because it makes for a better meeting. And also, if you're not speaking, if you can put your mic on mute, that would be fantastic, so that we can have an uninterrupted speaker when the speaker is speaking. And then if you want to say something, then either you can raise your hand or we can take it as it goes. We're not that many today, so if you want to interrupt the speaker, you have something you wanted to ask or say, then you can politely interrupt and say, such and such, can I come in, and then we can do it like that. Okay. Now I just want to give this topic a head start. And first impressions. Why are first impressions very, very, very important? What I mean. People often say that you should not judge a book by its cover. Okay, I mean, people say that a lot, but the truth of the matter is, we always judge the book by its cover, and there is a good reason for that. I mean, as much as you may tell people, "Oh, don't judge a book by its cover," we always do. Okay, now I'll try and make this point using scenarios. Okay, scenario number one: you walk into a library, okay, and it's a library full of books. You've got more than 10,000 books in that library. Okay. And you're looking for a nice book to read. You say, I need to be refreshed. I need to read something really uplifting, something really nice. I'm looking for a book. And you've got 10,000 books, okay? They're all calling you, read me, read me, read me. How are you going to go about deciding which book to read? Are you going to go through each and every book and try and read every page to decide which book is good? No, obviously you're not going to have that time. So what are you going to do? You're just going to be scanning those books. You're just opening the cover. You're opening the front of the cover. Like what I asked Anthony. I said, Anthony, can you show me the cover and what the title says, right? So you look at the cover, you look at the picture there, the artwork, the words that say, how catchy it is. Probably if you're lucky, if you kind of like what it's saying, you might turn it at the back as well, isn't it? And say, this is interesting. Who wrote this book? And probably read a bit of that or that bio on the author and say, this is interesting. Okay. And probably goes in your shortlist. So eventually we end up judging books by their cover. Why? Because we have no time to read all the books. We don't have time to skim through all the books. Okay. So that's scenario number one, why people always judge the book by its cover. But I love this guy called Jim Rohn, and I think he puts it really well. He sums it up really well. Okay, he says, let me read this quote for you. I don't want to paraphrase. I want to read it as it is. It says, "Our lives are mostly affected by the way we think things are, not the way they are." Okay, our lives are mostly affected by the way we think things are, not the way they are. Think about that for a minute. You know, so many times the decisions we make about people, the opinions we form about situations, the decisions we make about ourselves even sometimes, it is not so much because of the way things truly are, but it's how we perceive them to be, okay? The opinions we formed about those situations, the opinions we formed about people. People may be completely different at heart or really who they are, but we end up treating them, we end up relating to them as a result of the opinions we formed about them, what we think of them. So we are truly affected, and the choices we make are truly affected mostly by the way we think things are and not the way they truly are, okay? So this is the same about first impressions as well, okay? I'll give you another scenario, okay? I'll give you scenario number 2, a job interview, right? You're going for a job interview. Hang on one second. Bear with me, I need to do something here. Right, okay, you're going for a job interview. And I'll give you a scenario. You've got 2 people going for a job interview. You've got a Jane Doe and a John Doe, okay? 2 people. Let me start with John. John is a really experienced guy. He knows he knows his work. He's done that similar kind of job for many years. He's got a CV to fill up a briefcase. He's ready to go for the job. But then he goes into that interview so unprepared. Okay, he's got poor communication skills. He's got poor language skills. He's got the worst handshake you can ever have. He doesn't do eye contact during the interview. He comes across, because he's very unprepared, he comes across very nervous in that half an hour he's sitting in that interview. So the interviewer looks at the CV, great guy, lots of experience, but when he's trying to connect to the person, he gets absolutely nothing, okay? That's John. On the other hand, you've got Jane Doe. Jane, she has got some experience. She's got a relatively modest CV, good CV, but not as good as John, okay? But Jane comes into an interview flying, man, right? She sits in there and she owns that room, okay? She's got excellent communication skills, excellent interpersonal skills, excellent language skills. She's got a great handshake. She walks in there with confidence, smiling on her face. She's like, guys, I've come here to sort your problems. I am the person you are looking for, the person you've been searching for years. That's me. I come into your company, you're going to see changes from day one. You know, great leadership skills. She walks in and she literally lights up the whole room, okay? She does that interview. The interview feels great. Jane feels great. She goes home. After a couple of weeks, the company decides to give that job to Jane. Guess what John says? John says, oh man, maybe because I'm a man, they were looking for a woman. That's why they didn't give me a job. You know, I'm more qualified than Jane. I have more experience. But think about it this way. These people had half an hour to be impressed, okay? They gave you half an hour to sit there and convince them that you're the right man for the job, and you failed, okay? You say, oh, I have the experience, but yes, but you failed to demonstrate that experience, okay? Now, I want you to zoom in on that word demonstrate for a second, okay? Having the experience is one thing. Having the ability to demonstrate to others that you have what it takes is something completely different, okay? And I'll use another scenario, I call it scenario 3, to explain this concept of demonstration to you, okay? How many of you have got a driver's license? Most of you do, okay? So most of you did go through driving tests at some point in your life. That could be last year, 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago for some of you, maybe, I don't know. But you've been to a driving test, okay? Now, what do driving instructors tell you every single time? My wife at the moment is doing her driving lessons, which is well overdue. She should have done it a long time ago. But anyway, she's doing her driving lessons at the moment, and she keeps coming back and telling me that the driving instructor keeps asking her that why are you not looking? You know, keeps insisting on what do they call it? Let me see if I can remember it. It's mirrors, signal, maneuver, isn't it? Something like that. Mirror, signal, maneuver, in that order. You know, mirror, signal, maneuver. Now, what they want is you to actually look at, you know, that mirror, look at the side mirror, and look over your shoulder. So you do that sweep. Or if you're going that way, you do that sweep. There. So you do that sweep. And the instructor keeps telling her that you need to do that. And she says, but I've done it. And the instructor says this, I didn't see you do it. And she's like, but I did it. And then the instructor says, all right, now stop the car. Let me explain something to you, okay? When you go to do the test, it is not so much that you know and that you're doing it. It is just as important to demonstrate to the guy who is doing the test that you are doing it. So when you're doing it, you actually have to make a point that, can you see me do it? You're not just doing it, but you are showing him, you're demonstrating that you're doing it, okay? So really, a driving test is just you demonstrating that you're a competent driver, okay? Now, so you can be a competent driver, but you may fail to demonstrate that, and you'll end up failing. So that's the point she was trying to bring across when she was doing her driving lessons. But I think that is really important even to us, that when we talk of first impressions, we're not talking here of you fabricating who you are. We're not talking about you impersonating a person that you're not. We're not saying that you're trying to be a con artist here and trying to pretend to be something you're not. That's not what I'm saying here. What we're saying is you trying to demonstrate the best you can your true abilities. Because some people have those abilities, but they fail to demonstrate them on their first encounter, okay? So that's the whole point of first impressions. The whole point of first impressions is not about you being a con artist, it's about you really being able to demonstrate your true abilities, okay? So what are the things you need to work on? First, you need to work on yourself. And that's what personal development is all about. That's what we do all the time as Lifetime Success Seminars, really trying to hone in our skills, trying to hone in our abilities, everything, our soft skills, our hard skills, our leadership skills, all these things, yeah? That's the first thing. But once you have that, you really need to work on how well you can impress upon other people, okay? How well you can translate that onto how other people see you, how other people perceive you, how other people take you, okay? One final thing, and then I'll allow Steve to carry on. George Clooney, a great actor from Hollywood, said this. He was asked about why he was supporting Barack Obama in 2008. He was supporting Barack Obama's bid to be the president of the United States in 2008, when he was running his first election campaign. And this is what George Clooney said. He said, this guy has got this aura, speaking of Barack Obama now, saying, this guy has got this aura that he walks into a room, right? He walks into a room full of people, full of hotshots, all right? But he's got this aura that once he walks into the room, literally, everyone focuses on him and you just want to follow him. And he said, I can't explain it, but you just feel this sense and this urge to just follow this guy around. And to me, I was like, blimey, this guy must have such great first impression. Imagine he walks into a room full of big shots, full of big people, right? People with their egos and everything. And he walks in and literally, you just feel like, I just want to follow this man, okay? And that's the kind of first impression this guy had, okay? With the way he presents himself, with the way he carries himself, with the way he talks, the way he shakes people's hands, the way he smiles. He just conducts confidence and leadership and trust and all those things in just that first instance, okay? Now, if we can learn a little bit of that and really learn how we can really build that, I think it will go a long way in our careers, in our places of work. Imagine yourself, what sort of opinions do people have on you at your place of work? What sort of opinions do people have on you, in other relationships, in everywhere that you are? If we can really learn how to sell ourselves, how well to sell ourselves out there and be these great sales people, if you like, then I think it'll make a big difference in our lives and our impact into people's lives as well, okay? So having said that, I don't want to take any more time. I'm really excited. I really can't wait. Stephen, the floor is yours. Let me pass it on to you, and then so we can hear from you what you have to say. And then I hope at the end we'll have a wonderful time for a discussion. And like I said, guys, use the chat section as much as you can. If you have anything, any point that you like, you want to add anything, put it in there. Any question? Let's go. Let's have an interaction. Right? Ready to go? Steve, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Charles, for a great introduction. I think now you finish with the topic, which is, amazing. Yeah. As did Charles, introduce our conversation for today. And I always say that, we're not making this as a lectures, we're not having this platform for lecturing. No, I'm here to benefit from Jeff, to get something from Grace, from George, because we all have experiences that, complemented one another. So what we're trying to do, me and Charles, is moderate and, through the topic, and then let's have converse, So we know making like, okay, we are the guru, you're a student, sit down, pen and a paper, take notes. No, we moderate, and we would like as much as possible to hear from you. Your contribution is really makes this platform alive and more valuable, So as we all know, the topic for today is about, the packaging. Okay, and it's something small, something that we come across every day in our lives, but it's something that you can just stop and think and then say, hang on, let me see, how can this affect, my life, affect some other people's lives, affect your business, affect your success and everything. Now, as Charles did explain, the key point that we're going to be heading, if you have a session 2, maybe session 3, we're trying to start a journey into us being able to create or develop an attractive personality. Okay, so just a second, my battery is running low. Sorry, just a second. Yeah, so an attractive personality. Now, as we say, we can, try to say, well, I don't care what people say about me. Well, I don't care what people, But for me, I've realized most people who say like that, possibly they're not going nowhere. The people who go somewhere, they care about what people say about them. If Charles Moore tells me, well, I don't care about what people, well, I see he doesn't care about what people say simply because his circle is a small people. That's why he doesn't care about that. But if you're somebody who's going somewhere and, your circle is important people, you're not going to say, I don't care what they say. I don't think you should say we should say that. If you say I don't care about what they say, depending on the subject, that's fine. But on this one, I think is something that you should care. Simply because I say I was having a little chat with Charles, and I said, when you go to the supermarket, you try to buy products, the people who are designing the product, I think they spend some time manufacturing or producing a product, but also they spend another good time to see how they can package the product, and possibly that could be the most difficult thing to do. You have your product, it's very nice, but now you need to make sure that it's packaged in such a way that people will see and come and buy, and well, a couple of times I bought some things simply because of the package, and then inside you find, oh, come on, maybe if I knew, I wouldn't buy this. But why? The packaging, right? The presentation, that's what called you, to come in and buy, and then you find out something different. But as Charles said, we're not trying to manipulate people, give a false presentation, and then when people give you a job and then you can't perform. We don't want that. We are aiming at working into ourselves, working in character, the handshake, and everything. So when we say packaging yourself, number one is this, that when I see you the first time, I never seen Grace before. First time, we kind meet. And yeah, number one thing, I will have start to form my opinion about her, or my opinion about Charles, So the thing that I can see, I'm not going to see her PhDs or her wisdom or how much spiritual she is. She can be very much 100% spiritually, but I can't see the spirituality. What I need to see is the numbers. There are few things that straight away appear, So how much you're dressing, how you look, your handshake, you smile a little bit when we're having conversation, those kind of things. So the may sounds very trivial or small, but they can have a big effect. Possibly you might have heard like somebody say, say you're having an interview, and then somebody the interview for 2-3 people say, I did an interview, and yeah, Grace looks like she hasn't got those, big certificates, but I like her. For some reason, I just like Grace, her personality is, she has a good personality. So as simple as that. So you can have somebody with a lot of certificates, a lot of everything, but their personality, maybe their attitude wasn't right, and, they can lose the opportunity. As simple as that. Okay. So it's really important to time after time, just look at yourself, how do I dress? And actually, I should say this is the reason possibly why we have a dress code for doctors, a dress code for a mechanic, a dress code for somebody in the kitchen, it's kind to identify them with possibly what they are doing in one way or another. But I have to see myself as a product, okay? As a product, when I go somewhere, I say, okay, this is me. I'm working into becoming successful somebody in whatever area that I choose, is a business or is a career or whatever it is. Now, you got to put yourself here and then try to have your audience on the other side, and then see, okay, when they're looking at me, what do they see? Because you yourself, you can judge yourself, say, oh, I'm doing this because of this and this and this. You have your reasons. But the thing is, they don't have your reasons. You don't have your reasons written on your chest, like we're having a nice executive meeting and Mr. Charles Samuel pop up with a tissue, a couch, a singlet, and say, yeah, when I was, it was hot. And I said, but we don't have those reasons. What we see is the presentation, and we make our judgment out of that. Okay, so here's the key. No matter what we think, people will always judge us by whatever they see. The first impression, your handshake, a tone of voice, you know, are you contacting, looking them on the eye? You know, they will judge, they will judge, they will see what you see, and then they're going to make that decision. They say, I've seen Charles, but it looks like there's something fishy. You know, they say like that, there's something fishy, you know, and then say, what do you mean something fishy? Because they're reading you. Okay, they're reading you. So every time, you know, every time you, wherever you're, you know, in a meeting or at workplace or at an interview or at a board meeting, you know, people are reading you without you saying something. Okay, there was a time I was in a YouTube and I saw a kind of a social experiment. Now this woman wanted to kind of see how, you know, society will react based on appearance. So, well, the first thing that she did was dress very nice, beautiful. You know, the hair is like, you know, Mama Grace over there, nice skirt. And then she had a baby doll, you know, and then she was in the middle of the town, and then asking people, say, oh no, I'm sorry, I forgot my purse, and then my baby is crying. I need to buy some milk. Could you please help? Because of that, people say, oh yeah, no problem. They give $10. That was in America, you know. And then, could you please, no problem. They give you $5, you know. Could you please, you know, no problem. They give $20. Then she went and changed and become like these people, substance abuse, misuse, like drug addict. And then all this, and then she tried again. Nobody, people were running away. Same person, nothing has changed. She still got the baby and said, you should be responsible. If you're taking the drugs, why are you having? So people were cursing her. You understand? And then she came into conclusion that, oh, I'm not a different person, but because of the way I appear, people already made the judgment. Case closed. Okay? So whether we like it or not, that's what it is. Okay? That's very, very important. And you're going to carry yourself always as a product. You know, when you go in the supermarket, you know, you got not only one coffee brand, you got plenty of brands. So what makes you buy A or B? Of course, in the supermarket could be a price, you know, like, oh, you know, gonna go test the value or ask the value, you know, pick that. But again, the packaging really matters, you know, the packaging really matters. And when we're talking about the package here, we're not only talking about the clothes that you put on the tie and the suit. No, you know, it is how you interact, you know, your handshake, you know, we're going to gauge your handshake, you know, how firm it is, how soft it is, the way you speak to people. Another thing is, I was listening to, can't remember his name, he's a musician, you know, he wrote 50 Cent. He wrote a book, you know, I can't remember the title, it's Hustler or something. And then he was, you know, reading this book. There's one of the things that he said and really got my attention. He said there was a guy who was having a, well, I can call behavior or character, if you can say, when they're in a big board meeting, you know, and then people presenting their, you know, their ideas and whatever it is, you know, almost everybody was talking loud and, you know, but for him, he was talking very low, you know, very low, you know, bit below everybody frequency. And then one of the, you know, somebody, they say, ask, why when you're presenting, everyone is talking loud and like shouting and you're talking very low? And then you say, yeah, you know, you see, when I speak very low, I get the attention. Everyone is like this. They want to listen. You understand? And I learned the point, like, it's not about shouting too much. People can hear, but they don't pay attention. So for him, he makes it very, very low. The people really got to lean on the table to listen what he's saying and say, that way, I get people to listen to me. And I said, wow, that's something nice. You know, if you, you know, if you command attention by just adjusting the tone of your voice, you know, that's something nice. So it's really, you know, learning and understanding things, you know, and put them into practice. So again, as I've said, an example of product, you can have a very good product, but if you package it in the wrong way, nobody will, you know. Very good example that Charles said, you know, you go in a library and there's 15,000 books, and you have a very nice book inside with a very good material, but outside you put something like rubbish or picture on some, nobody's, yeah, you understand, it's a good book inside, but people don't have the time to go inside. People now, they just want to see, you know, what they see. And I think this is the reason why the book has a back cover. You put a little story and an abstract to give people the impression like, okay, you know, this is all inside the book, is it? Like a starter. When you go to the menu, they give you a little starter, you know, to kind of, you know, keep you in an environment. So is Charles is laughing. It's really important to make sure that, you know, you learn this and you cultivate this, because the big people who are successful, say, you know, whoever, you know, these people was, there's a way that they conduct themselves. You know, there's the way that they dress, the way that they speak. You know, when they finish eating the meal, there's the way they put their spoon, knife, and fork. There's the way they do things. So if you kind of learn and do kind of the same, they say, well, this man looks like, yeah. But if you go there, even if you go all these things and then they say, no, this one, no, please. Even if you're good, even if you know, the opportunity was there for you, but they may just discredit you simply because of that one thing. You go to a good interview and you go your PhD, you go there, you know, your hair doesn't look in place, your shirt is, you know, you got food everywhere. They say it's the madman. But you know, you're not a madman. You're right, you're not insane, you're good. But they say, no. This guy, you know, he's a madman. We can't, you know, could you please? And you may miss opportunity simply because of that. But you know, that is an outside in a very nutshell, you know, but we need to go a bit further than this. Okay. Now, the question to ponder is this, for example, what does my appearance about you? You know, how you know, just sit down and think of yourself that, how is my appearance? That's number one. You know, do I look like somebody who's, you know, successful, or somebody who will be, somebody who's working towards success? Do I look that way? Okay. Another question is, do I look important? Charles is laughing. Charles, I'm asking you, Charles, do I look important?
That Steve is $1 million question. I'm laughing because it sounds like a silly question to ask yourself, but it's extremely important. So carry on, give me an answer, brother.
Yeah, so yeah, it is because, you see, if I say I want to succeed, I want to attract important people, you know, I have to be in a certain way. I have to be, I don't know, a photocopy of that. You know, you can't say, well, I want to attract. Charles is a very important person, you know, every minute counts, every minute is money. And then you go there, you're wasting that. No, I have to really be somebody of substance, somebody of value. You understand? So that, you know, whenever opportunity comes, you're ready. You know, it's like, okay, you meet someone, whatever it is, I'm giving an example, and you say, okay, Charles, how can I help you? You go, 1 minute. Maybe I need another Alfa Romeo. Oh, no. I think I need a mortgage. No. Then they say, okay, just go on the side. You don't know where you're going. You understand? But if you really have, so what can I do for you? Say, fantastic. ABC, because you know this is where I'm going. You know, say maybe purple, maybe blue, maybe pink. Straight to the point.
Stephen,
and that's ready.
Stephen, sorry to interrupt. Anthony has got a hand raised, so I think he wants to come in for a second, if you can allow him.
Fantastic. Yes, he can come in.
Yes, I mean, you know, when you started asking that question, do that look important? Do I do this for me to reach this level? It gives me a lot of reservation. When I was in Sweden, there was a day I was studying political science at the university in Malmo.
Yes.
This idea about who need to go on a front page in advertisement, a pop-up. These people, when I say these people, this country we live in, the European people, they say Black people, they lack they make up, like they lack that the privilege for them to become a front page in a lot of things. That's why they don't see us in the advertisement. I was sitting down over there, like we were, like Stephen from the beginning, we talk about don't judge I mean, like
The book by the-
personality,
yeah,
like
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
they say don't judge the book by the cover or whatsoever here and there. You know, we have a kind of stereotype world that we live in contemporary world. You have to bring yourself at certain level, you have to dress certain way, you have to do certain things before you can be who they expect you to be. In that same university, I was having some conversation with some of these Swedish guys.
Yes.
We reached at a point, everybody was blockheaded. They couldn't go nowhere. When I paved the way out, one guy looked at me and said, hey, if you were a Swedish, I would have said you are wise. So we live in a society that they judge us not because of what we know, but because how they think, like what Stephen was saying from the beginning. And this is one of the things I think we have to cut off. I am an African. I have my own African way of dressing. I have the way I'm going to do things. It's not that if I'm going to sit in the office, I should dress like the European to put necktie on me before they believe who I am. I don't do that. We have a culture, and that's what I love the Nigerian. Wherever the Nigerians go, they wear their abala. They don't care, So we have to try our best as much as we can to rechange this narrative. This is the reason why sometimes, like somebody like me, I actually take writing as a tool for me to get out there, for my voice to be there. Some of these literatures that I was doing at that particular university, I'm talking about, they were lying about how my country is structured. Liberia, Sierra Leone, I confronted the lecturer about it. He said, but this is the academic fact. What is the academic fact? I came from that society. I live there. I know what is there. You are telling me about your superficial information that you lack credibility. So sometimes we have to really be careful how we perceive ourselves and for us to fit into a society or a community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anthony. Grace, were you saying something?
Anthony, that was powerful, We are judged by our skin sometimes. Whether you are, first class or whatever, they don't think about that. Because you are Black, I'm sorry to say, we did argue that it's not only by our skin. But look at Anthony, Swedish. I don't think many of them have seen a lot of Africans.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went over there in the 2000, honestly, people were playing with my hair. Some of these guys, I give them the opportunity, they will do me like this to know whether the dust going to come out of my skin. Because I just wanted to know how they think. So I just give them, I was like a specimen. I remember one of my friends wanted to go in the sauna, All these Swedish guys, they were naked over there. They are waiting for me to undress myself and go. You are the one touching my hair. You are playing with my skin. Now you want to see me real and bone naked,
Yeah.
I said, come in. I said, no.
You are a hero, they're a hero. I've been there. I've been to Sweden, actually. I've got a nephew who lives there with his family. Yeah. I agree with what you said. We have to stand up and be counted. Make ourselves seen.
Yeah. Well,
Steve, may I add something on what Anthony said? Because I think what Anthony said is really powerful. And in the context of our conversation today of how you package yourself, I think it's very important to almost like add a footnote on what Anthony said. That when you're packaging yourself, you're not trying to lose your identity, because I think Anthony is alluding to the issue of identity. Don't sell yourself out. Don't try and lose your identity because you're trying to make yourself appealing to people that look different to you. Yeah. But I think there is something here that we need to go farther than that. That if I understand, let me go back to an example. Say you're in Sweden or anywhere else for that matter. And you know that when they see you as a Black person, they just by the mere color of your skin, that already means they start formulating some opinions of you. You haven't said a word, you haven't done anything. All they know is your color of your skin, and that itself is enough for them to form an opinion. right? Okay.
Of course.
Now, next to that is right. You've decided that I'm going to be wearing my African attire. Okay, brilliant. You're still sticking to your identity, and probably that may lead to them forming even more opinions. Okay. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is if we are aware that people always form opinions. Now, the thing is not to say I don't care. Let them form whatever opinions they want, because you're not going to win that war that way. The question is, how can I create a great impression irrespective of the opinions they might form on my color and my dress code? You understand what I mean? So the question is not that I need to dress like them. No, it's the question is, I know if I dress like this and appear like this, these are the opinions they're going to form. How do I ensure that they form a different opinion of me? So that may come across. Remember when Stephen said that the package is not just about how you dress. It comes down to how you communicate, how confident you come across, the substance that you bring on the table on your first encounter, the confidence that you allude, it could be little things like your eye contact. It's all about that. This person may look at you and think, oh, this person is black, I have these opinions. But then they have 5-minute conversation with you and they realize that, hang on a second, all the opinions I had are wrong. This is wrong. This guy is different. And I think that's the whole point of first impressions, that if we don't address it that way, then we end up with what we were saying before in the chats, the issue of I don't care, in which case it ends up hurting us in the long run. But I think the point is, how do we maintain our identity, keep our identity, but also create great first impressions?
Can I come in again?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I mean, when I use like the things about the dressing code, it was a scenario, okay? One thing we have to already know, our African dressing is not fitting for places like Sweden. You wear those kind of clothes, definitely you're going to freeze, whether in the summer or whatsoever. But the idea is, I have seen some people, when they found themselves in this society, they pretend, they pretend to forget about everything. And whether you pretend to be like these people, they are always thinking you are not like them. Look, Obama, you were talking about Obama. They are pointing out Obama as a black man. If nobody know Obama, he go to our African society and he found himself in any of those villages, they will call him white man. These are the kind of people I described them in my writing, that they found themselves in between two roads. They don't know where to look because they are not black, they are not white, but yet they are fully black by labeling. They label them as black. No way they will not change those things, So, me knowing this, I have to be myself. I mean, in this same Swedish society that I'm telling you, European already know that we African, we don't do things on time. We always come late. Everything is about being late. And then I started attending these people before I went to Sweden. I know this is the concept that we African, we always come late.
Good.
And then I was doing arrangement, like we go meeting here and there. Whenever things happen, I reach there first. This one was like 5:30 a.m. in the morning. We were going somewhere on a church program. And these guys say, oh yeah, because I don't drive, like when you were talking about driving, I was just smiling because I didn't have a driver license, So these guys should have dropped me, we make this group. I reached over there. I was the first man. When he came, he said, hey, so you're already here? I said, yeah. This guy looked at me for a while and said, you are the first black man that I see who keep to time. Honestly. Then I told myself, I said, yes, I knew it. I'm doing it deliberately because you guys know, always people don't keep to time. So sometimes, like you said, I pick up the best of the society, couple it with the best that I believe as my own culture, and I become somebody new. I am not here to change their structure or do things like bring Africa here, but I pick up the good one from over there and I pick one, the best one. I know these people love keeping to time. So even if I'm in my African community whereby we do respect time, if I'm dealing with them, I have to respect time. So this is just like you said, how we package ourselves. We blend ourselves in the best of our ability to fit every situation we find ourselves. But sometimes this is not what everybody do. It's not about me going to be wearing my Nigerian clothes or African clothes, dancing here and there, no. But at the same time, I'm not going to lose value or lose my African face because I found myself in Europe. No. We have to fight for that. Because for so long, the structure of the society or even literature, everything were things to actually destroy our identity. I think in a contemporary society, it is now time for us to fight back. Not fight back violently, but fight back academically and whatsoever you can to change some of these things. I mean, like I'm telling you, I am targeting one of the most prominent academics here in the UK right now. They call her Mary Caddo. Mary Caddo has been written so evil or so lies about my society that I'm even contacting journalists for me to point it out. By so doing, I'm correcting the thinking of these people against how they see us. You know, she talked about the Liberian and Sierra Leone civil war starting in 1989, which was in March 1991. Where does she get the idea from? It is fully printed. She has been using the concept since 1998. In 2015, I saw this thing in my my political science class. I tried to contact her. She refused. She didn't respond because she believes she has written the truth about my society. What do you know about my society? It's lie. So we have to do our best to change some of these things.
Right. Thank you very much, Anthony. Well, if I knew, I could have given you this topic, you could have really directed us in a good. Anyway, yeah, thank you, Charles, for kind of putting it in line, put it back on the line. Actually, yeah. So what we're trying to say is we're not trying to conform, and maybe copying what they say, because see, when you conform and copying what they do, possibly you may not fit in properly, and they may say, look at this one, what are you trying to do? But what we need to kind focus on, in my view, is things like that. We are meeting 3:30. You're there on time. That's universal. It doesn't matter you're Black, you're American, you're Singaporean. Being on time. That's a good thing. That's a good value. You understand? So we say, okay, we're having a journey. We're going to start departing at 4 o'clock. And at 4 o'clock, something happens, and then we're not departing. Some people cut their fuse and they start swearing and jumping on the roof and all these things. But again, you can choose to be that, or you can choose to be, okay, fantastic. No, you're driving and then someone is cutting in front of you, and you can choose two things, either to become and make them be in their position, or you can join them and then start, cross fingers and do whatever you can. So it's a choice that I choose to write. When they've done that, I see that, okay, I'm in top shelf, I know who I am, and they're in the bottom shelf. Let them do what they do, and then that's it. I'm not going to conform and then start going. Of course, sometimes it's difficult. You can lose your temper. Well, but the thing is, the fact of the matter is, if we lose it and then we go to wherever they are, we're not winning. So what we're trying to say, Anthony, is, well, you pointed very well. You proved them wrong. They think Black man will be here 2 hours late. And somebody put in a comment, I can't remember the name, say, no hurry in Africa. This is the problem. We already told them, no hurry in Africa. And then they already, because you see, they form this opinion based on possibly what they've seen already. I understand some things they're cooking up, very true. But some things, come on, an African man is going to eat a banana. There's the bin over there. They're still going to drop the banana skin down here. Then that is a problem. There's a bin over there. They're going to put the banana skin between the feet, not just like that. No, there's a something. So there's a way that you conduct yourselves, So I understand, like, yeah, you're in a hotel and you're paying for this and that, but you're not going to leave your hotel room lights on simply because I paid £80 for the night. So you leave the water running. So you go in the bathtub, open it, toilet, open it, or the water, open it. Why? I paid for it, man. Don't tell me nothing. But I don't think that is what we're going to do. But if you do that way, then they're going to form opinion, obviously. But what we're trying to say is we need to gauge yourself, because we're not going to have the same everything. So Charles' standard is going to be different. Charles may have his own standard, Grace may have her own standard. Like my standard is, I'm not going to eat this much sugar. I'm not going to do this. This is my that. This is her standard. You understand? You can say, Anton, me, I don't care. I'm going to eat potatoes mixed with bananas. It doesn't matter. It's my body. I eat whatever I want. That's fine. That's your standard. But what we're trying to say is you have to see the society that we live in is structured in a certain way. You understand? And we have to relate to one another. You can't say, oh, I will just succeed. You can't succeed out of the blue. Your success and my success, we have to interact with somebody. Yeah. So for you, Anthony, to be successful, Charles to be successful, to be a millionaire or a billionaire, you need people. You need to interact with people. You need to have those business meetings. You need to make some phone calls and how you speak on the phone, all these kind of things. But now the key is, how do I relate to these people? Okay. How do I, present myself to these people? How do I appear? Well, I don't mean that you conform and copy them, but you set your standard, and then you become somebody who really deserve and command that respect. Because if in the view is, time giving is important, and you come there 3 hours late, no matter what they already say, come on, even if you're Mr. Anthony with PhD, we don't really, come on, 3 hours late, come on. So those kind of things, they can possibly pull you backwards. Okay. So another thing is, as I said, when you making your profile and that you're working on this profile of yourself and you're asking yourself some questions. So, oh, do I look important? We don't say that you say, of course I am important. No. Just to yourself. Do I look important? Do I dress like an important person? It doesn't matter you're wearing a Maasai thingy or whatever thing. You can wear that one, but in a way. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is, like we said earlier, whichever way that we choose, I don't want to call prejudice, but people will judge us in a certain way. No matter what we do, no matter what we say, because they have the right, they have their own opinion. We can't take it, say, see me this way. But again, we have to kind of see what, if I've done everything that I need to do on my list, I'm eloquent enough, I'm presenting enough what I want to do, exactly like Charles said to Mr. Obama. That guy can talk, you can listen to him like a music, you can stay there 10 hours listening to him. He's very charismatic. You understand? Now listen, assure me you listen to Mr. Trump. You can't, sorry, I'm saying this on live. You can't listen to, you might not be able to listen to him as much as you could listen to somebody else, simply because of their personalities and how eloquent they are. Okay, so when you're asking those questions, oh, do I look at the kind of a person who can command respect from other people? A person that I can be given a consideration from other people, in one way or another. So I think those kind of things, they are really important. And all this comes into us working in developing a pleasing personality, which is coming as a set of your characteristics, the tone of your voice, how your handshake and stuff, and all these things. So they inform you, they make at the end, they make you, they make you yourself. So it's not a matter of, putting a makeup, like you put this one and you say, okay, Sister Grace, now time to remove the makeup. And then we see, oh, what happened? So sorry, I'm using it as an example, but we're not talking about putting a makeup outside and then, camouflage. No, we really want to work into eating avocados and fruits and make that skin come as natural as possible, beautiful. You understand? That's what we're trying to work on, So, yeah, so, whichever way, but the clothes we wear matters. Now, I was talking to Charles as well. At the moment, so back in them days, used to be when you apply for a job, they put the job on a newspaper, and then after that, you apply, they don't even know you, they see your CV and they read your degrees and stuff and everything, and then they call you. But at the moment, you go like LinkedIn, where it's like a shopping center for employers. They go there, they see Charles, how he looks like with a vest tie, they're looking experience, and then they compare. So they're going shopping for you. You understand? So you are a product over there. On LinkedIn, you're a product. They're going shopping, the employers and all the people, big company, they go in there shopping. So they go, all these people, the profile, experience, and you come from this village and this one, and that's what, and that's it. So you can't say, oh, I got all degrees and I'm putting nothing there. They're not gonna pick you. So you're gonna sell yourself, from the way you appear, how you appear, your little smile and the details of your, exactly same the way you want to sell your car. You say, oh, you go power steering, electric window, massage chair, 16. Well, Charles is laughing. It's exactly the same. Exactly the same. First impressions. You see Gracie, nice, you want to impress her. We go for a date. You're gonna impress, sit there nicely, pay the bill, order the meal. Why you do that? You want to impress. Why don't you just go there shabby and then you don't know? Because you care, because you want to win the deal. So when you go to do the deal, you're going to do the deal. This is what it is. You can say, oh, it doesn't matter. If you want to win the deal, make sure everything is in line from, the way you appear, the way you smile, your handshake, and your everything, if it's allowed, the way you tip, all these things, they count into making a deal. They count into you succeeding in that, whatever that thing that you want, So, yeah, we've talked in too many things and everywhere, but you can refine it and bring it down into yourself that I am a product that, is out there. So depending on what you want, so if I want a job, I need to see me as a product, how can I polish myself? How can I package myself? How can I shine myself to make, presentable in the marketplace? That's how you're gonna think. If you say you're a parent, you're a father, again, package yourself in a way that, okay, your kids are happy, you have a spare time, you spend time with them, whatever thing that is gonna, get them your attention, you do that. Okay, so it's all about marketing ourselves. But when we say this, we mean that we work on ourselves, we work on we go to the gym, we do the push-up, we create the muscle, that good look. That's all what we need to do, So if you want to speak eloquently, of course, we read dictionary, we add some, vocabularies and stuff, and all these kind of things, and that's how things, because there is an expectation. So I'm a businessman. It's the way we expect you to behave as a businessman. It's the way we expect you to conduct yourself as a businessman. When you say, oh, I'm a man of God, we expect, the way you do as a man of God. Why? Because that's the expectation. Now, for you to succeed, you need to work on those things that are relevant to that place that you want to go. Okay, so let me end up here so that we can kind of come in again and top up. I've spoken enough. I think is enough, and as I say, the society will be always like that, and we cannot deny that. There's another day I was watching something. Is it Gold Digger or something like this? These people say, oh, can we have a friend? No, I don't care. I don't want a friend. And then they see you, they say, okay, I don't. And then they look at you. They say you're going to Lamborghini. Oh, is that your car? They say, yeah. Oh, okay. Can I come back? Let's talk. Sorry, my mind was not in place when you say no, but now because they see you good, this one, they initially they judge you like, oh, you look like rough, like somebody homeless. I don't have nothing to do with it. Exactly like the other example I gave you today, that lady. But now when they see you got Maserati, say, oh, is that yours? Say, yeah. Okay, maybe we can, have a conversation. So yeah, what were you asking again? Sorry. That's the society. Okay, so saying that, I'm going to welcome. The floor is open. So let's ponder and let's see where we can adjust and improve and refine. Yeah, so welcome everyone.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was absolutely powerful. That was fantastic. I just want to throw in a question here, guys, as we go into the discussion. We're going to have like 15 minutes of discussion. I want us to zoom in on a professional level, and maybe a little bit on a personal level, but more on a professional level. I want us to think of our workplaces or our businesses or our business encounters or whatever it is that we do and we go out in the marketplace and do. And I want us to zoom in and think of what do people think of us? What opinions do people form about us in our workplace? Then you can make that very personal. You think about yourself, reflect on what are the opinions that your colleagues are forming about you. What are the opinions that your bosses have about you? Or if you're the boss, what are the opinions that your subordinates are forming about you? And how do those opinions affect your relationship with them, your professional relationship with them, and possibly your career? How does that affect your career? And I want us to challenge ourselves now and have a conversation on now this is generally, not specifically. I don't want to point a finger specifically to people. I mean, you're more than welcome to share your own personal story, but I want us to generally talk about how can we really improve those opinions? How can we take more control of those impressions that we have upon others? You know, so there comes things like, you know, you talked about issue of punctuality, issue of communication, issue of leadership, issue of taking responsibility, lots of these issues. I want us to have these conversations and really challenge each other on those areas and how we can really improve our impressions on others, be it first impression or 100-time impression. Back to the floor.
I'm going to do just 15 seconds. So for me, it's really to work on ourselves, you know, and be competent and just prove them wrong. You know, that's we're not competing like, oh, I'm going to show them. No, but you're going to set standard for yourself, you know, like in the marketplace. So I'm doing IT, you know, and then just set yourself there. I want to be an IT whatever guru. That's number one in terms of what you do. And number two, you're going to say, okay, in terms of relationship with people, you're going to improve your relationship skills. You know, how you speak to people, you know, how you're listening to people. When you're upset, how do you react? You know, all these kind of things. So it really is to work on yourself. And it's different from one person to another, because this comes to, because at workplace, of course, you go a job description. This is expected of you. You're going to do this for you to get your pay rise. But again, you're going to have your own standard, like me as me, this is who I'm going to be. And then that's it, really. And I think that's what sets you apart. Like when you have like footballers, you know, Ronaldo will say, well, I want to be the best of the best. But you can be just a standard player. Just, oh, what's the point? Just kick the ball forward. You get paid. But I said, no, I don't want to just kick the ball forward. I want to be the best of the best. And they do an extra exercise, an extra push-up, an extra class, an extra everything to become the best of the best. So that's all I can say.
Thank you, Steve. Anthony.
Steve was saying, sometimes it's about our personality, you know, it's about your experience. You can shape yourself in your package, sometimes based on the society, or I described earlier, for example, my upbringing, you know. I say a lot in the first book and even in my other story. Since I was growing up, I never have the opportunity, my family, nobody like my immediate family, nobody go to school. I educate myself. Majority of my time spent in school, I mean, like what I read was like, I spent more year out of the school to even finish high school than the amount of time I spent in school. It's like what we call self-schooling. When I knew my family lacked the potential for them to send me to school or whatsoever, and something happened, and my dad told me that he was not able to read something, then he said, it is only God that knows what this person wrote here. From that day, I decided that if I know how to read and write, I'll be one of those gods. So certain things, how you mold yourself is based on certain things. Sometimes you are confronted with certain situation, and then you see reason why you got to do certain things. So I live in a society like our African society. A lot of people, you know, I've been around with a lot of dishonest people, a lot of things, corruption, all these things. I am totally against it from day one, even though I never knew that it was called corruption, but there was something I was fighting against. That, for example, when I was in primary school or even secondary school, I don't spy. Spying can even lead to corruption in the long run because you are cheating. You are cheating something that is not you. You don't have potential to get there, but you want to get there. When I was in school, if I cannot answer a question, I will write blankly on that page, I don't know. I failed myself because I don't know. I didn't want to get a mark, which is not mine. So deliberately, I won't write rubbish, but I will definitely, even it makes me to even pass my exam because my teachers told me you are honest, you don't know, so you don't write anything. But look, these people, they are writing rubbish. So so I have always been fighting against those things. It's about branding yourself. One of my philosophies is I am the author of my own life. I live by what I create. I don't imitate. I don't really want to imitate anybody or whatsoever people do. You know, when you, I mean, sometimes the road is difficult to walk because you will see everybody born going this way, but you see yourself isolated, you know, all one doing things. But deep down within yourself, you know, you are fighting for a good cause. And that's how I think branding should be. Put yourself in a package that's something extraordinary than what people already know. You know? So that's just what I think we have to do, one way or the other. Fight for yourself. Believe that you are unique in everything that you do, no matter how little it is, but do it diligently and to the best of your ability. And at the end of the day, I mean, you will even gather a crowd unknowingly. When I was in primary school, they used to call me pastor, not because I was actually a pastor, but because of some of these things my friends used to do. I was totally against it. I live in a boarding home that boys used to do, I mean, like homosexual stuff they do to themselves because we were growing up in this kind of group. But when, oh, pastor is coming. I mean, when they want to do their secret, like stealing, all these things, they don't include me. Because I told you, if they catch us, I will talk. So that's just the kind of life I've been living. My headmasters, whenever he wants I mean, like if something go wrong, if I say whatever I say, he's going to accept because he knows I will say the truth. Why others will be lying? Say, you call Oscar, let him come and say, if he was there, definitely I'll know that something has happened or not. I mean, you beat me, you don't beat me, I will say the truth. So that's just how I think we have to do it. Put yourself in a unique way, extract the box, and then you will see how things will go. And today I'm proud of myself one way or the other in whatever, you know.
That is very powerful, Anthony. That is extremely powerful. And I think it really encapsulates this whole conversation that we've had here, that it first starts with the substance, isn't it? It's what if you're going to package something, you need the product first. If you don't have a product, it doesn't matter how well you package it, you're not going to get anything out of it. So it starts with the product first. So it starts with you. How much substance do you have? And then I think the key to the conversation we're having today is how well you can showcase who you truly are. Because I think that's the issue of first impression. In a sense that sometimes, coming back to the very first point I started with when I was introducing this topic, with that quote, with that word that we often say, that don't judge a book by its cover. But then I would say, I mean, if you're arguing that the cover is not describing the real content of the book, change the cover. You understand? I mean, if you're complaining, there you go. There you go. So if you're complaining that people are not reading the book, they should read the book. The cover, you know, they're judging the book because the cover says this. I'm like, yeah, then change the cover. Make the cover really reflect what the true content of the book is. And I think that's the issue of first impressions. That if there is the way that you want people to perceive you, then we really need to actively and I think the key word here is it's an active thing. The problem is we take it for granted. We think that it doesn't matter. If I just do what I do, people will eventually understand me. It's true. Eventually they will. But unfortunately, people don't give you that much time or that much of what we call it, of a grace period, if you like, to formulate an opinion. People look at you first 5 minutes, they form an opinion. So the question is, how quickly can you bring across the best of you in the first 5 minutes. And that's what first impression is all about. How quickly can you, there's this guy I was listening to, and he was saying that, right, you're a business person, you call yourself an entrepreneur, right? If you walk into a business tea meeting, okay, a tea party where you've got lots of business people sitting there, and they say, Charles, you have 2 minutes, okay, to tell us about your business. How well can you articulate who you are, what you do, and what you can do for those people and what you need from them in those 2 minutes? How quickly can you impress upon them that you're a valuable person? That is what we call the power of first impression. So a lot of people can be great business people, great entrepreneurs, but then you bring them in an environment like that. All right, you have 2 minutes to really sell yourself, and they go like, 2 minutes is up, they haven't said anything of value. You understand? So first impression, it has to be something very deliberate. It has to be something you really think about. Like, this is me, this is what I can best offer. But then you need to be able to bring that across in all your encounters and make sure that others can have that same perception that you think of yourself. That is what first impression is. It's not necessarily about you trying to be something you're not or trying to imitate someone else. It's about you really packaging yourself in a way that others can see your true self in your first encounter. Back to my question, guys. How can we really improve this in our place of work, in our careers, in our encounters? How can we really make an impression? How can we really be the best version of ourselves in others' eyes? That's really the question here. We've got 5 more minutes. I would like to hear from others as well. Floor is open, guys.
Charles.
Salome.
Hello.
Yes, Salome,
Yes.
go on.
I'm trying. Something just came in my head here. When you said if the cover is not good, change the cover. I'm trying to think. For example, when someone is got a huge body, like people who are fat, and there's someone who is a small on the other side, and they put a music there. And at the end of the day, the one who is huge, I don't know which is a good English there. The one who is big,
Overweight.
yeah, overweight. But when she goes on the floor, the way she dances, she does, or he does the best than everybody else. So by looking, people will think, oh, she is not gonna dance. He's not gonna dance like the others because he's overweight. But the dance that will show how good he can or she can perform. So I don't think all the time we should change the book, because people, when they look at the book, because your norms, I mean, normal to you, sometimes to others is abnormal. So when they look at you, they're like, this is abnormal. But to you is normal because, yeah, you can do things, and then when the performance is happening, that is when they realize, oh, this book actually is good, though the cover is not the way we think. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think always you should change the book, the look of the book, but yeah, the performance.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Salome.
Before you go,
May I
Charles.
clarify something? Hang on a second. May I clarify something? When I speak of book cover, I'm not necessarily speaking of outwards appearance. Okay, I'm not necessarily talking in your example size. But that's not what I'm referring to. When I'm talking about book cover, I'm talking about the qualities that you're presenting. Okay, that can be how you talk. That can be being punctual, to what Anthony was saying earlier. That could be your handshake, to what Stephen was saying before. That could be the substance of what you're bringing to the table in that first encounter. That could be what you say in the first 2 minutes when you're given an opportunity to say about yourself. It could be any of that. So it's not, when I'm talking of the book cover, I'm not talking necessarily of the outward appearance of a person, but I'm talking about because the book cover is what people would see first. So what I'm talking about is what you're actually portraying to the people first. In fact, in your example, I would say the book cover is that person actually getting on the stage and dancing. Actually, I would say that's the cover. Because basically,
No. I think that is the introduction of the fact that, I mean, that is the introduction inside the book, when you present yourself,
Yeah.
you are given 5 minutes to say,
Yeah.
this product of yours, Salome, can you explain to us?
Yeah.
This is the book. They look at outside the way you did it, yeah? But that is the look of outside. That's what we are saying. They don't judge by the, by the cover of the book. But when someone now is coming in and start to introduce and explain about the product, that's not the book. That's now is an introduction. That's when they will see, oh, what we saw outside is not what is inside. So the explanation, how we express ourselves, you cannot call that the cover of the book. That is the introduction, maybe it's chapter 1, because in our lives, we have chapters. So maybe the first chapter, and I think they do, I'm not a good reader, good writing the book, but I think that the beginning of the book and the end of the book, when they read, somebody can know this book is good or not. But after you open and read something, yeah, this is where you can say, okay, this product is good because you now open the book, not
Salome,
just by looking outside.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you had 50 books put in front of you, and you've been asked which book is the best, let me not say which book is the best. Let me ask you, and they ask you pick one book to read. How would you decide?
It depends. For example, for me, maybe I want to know about money, or I want to know about investment.
Yeah.
So I will go with the book which I want to learn about.
Yeah, all the 50 books are about investment.
Then, as I said, I'm not good on that one. You check, I think they normally check the first page or something in the back. There's something you read, then that can guide you, because I was reading this book which says, I think I have it here.
Yeah.
This book, it says,
abstract, it can be an abstract.
How, no. It says, it says how to read a book. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, how to read a book. That book, I think, if I remember, it explained the beginning of the page is first or second, and the end, there's somewhere, when you read, that can guide you how that good book is or not.
Yeah. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that's why I'm kind of angling you down in that corner, but you're really good at trying to wriggle out of that corner. The point I'm trying to make here is the cover of the book is really important. You can't underestimate that. That is known. I mean, how you put,
I'm going to be showing book cover here again.
Exactly. The cover of the book is really important, and we can't underestimate the power of that first impression. You look at the book outside, because that is what is going to say, hang on a minute, let me look what's inside. Okay, because before you think of going inside or even turning it to the back, you have to be attracted to what's at the top. And so I'm trying to use that same analogy. Now forgive me, it may not be a perfect fit, that analogy, but I'm trying to use that analogy to our lives as well, that sometimes we have to be aware that our first impressions, whatever those may be, it may be the appearance, which you were talking about before, it may be our character, it may be the way we conduct ourselves, it may be lots of things, it can be a lot of things. That matters. Now the question is, how do I take control of that? Okay, now for the example you gave, that lady decided to go and dance, and that was her way of taking control of it, and it worked, because people looked at her and were like, wow, she can dance, I didn't think she could. That is her way of taking control of it. Okay, in another case, is back to the case of Anthony, when he goes among people and they see him as a black person, and they make all these assumptions because they saw him as black, but then he proved them wrong. Okay, he got there the first person earlier than everybody else. That's just one of the examples. Maybe after having that meeting, he was a person of substance, and they thought, wow, this guy he's got so much substance in what he says, and therefore that was his way of taking control of the narrative. Okay, in another case, it could be what Stephen was saying. You're walking into an interview with someone, your appearance, from the way you're dressing up, the way you are shaking hands, the way you're doing eye contact, the way you are showing substance, that all speaks towards trust, speaks towards leadership, towards confidence, and that's his way of taking the control. So how you take control in all these different scenarios, it changes and it varies depending on the circumstances, but one thing remains the same. that people will always form opinions of you on the first instance. And the question is, how can you have a say on that? Okay, how can you have a control on those opinions? And I think that should be the take-home message, rather than that, oh, should I change my appearance? Should I change my body? Should I lose my weight? Should I dress this way? No, 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 that's not the point. The point is, people will always form opinions, and how can I take control of them? How can I influence those opinions? I think that's the take-home message. Wow, we're running out of time. I'll invite one last person to have a contribution, and then we call it a day. And I think this conversation merits another session. What do you think, Steve?
Well, good, because people seems to be they're having being led by Mr. Anthony. They're all having something, so that's absolutely fine.
No, I think it merits another conversation, because I think the issue of perception and opinion can be looked at many different. I wrote it on the chat that you can look at it at a societal level. Okay, like when we were talking about issues of race and issues of people, when you talk of blacks, what sort of opinions do people form about them? When you talk of whites, what sort of opinions people form about them? You can talk of it at that sort of level, societal level. You can talk of it at a professional level, which is where I was kind of really trying to steer our conversation to go towards. Or you can talk to it at a personal level, like Salome was kind of talking about people's, appearances, plus size, skinny, weight and appearances, how you dress, those kind of things. So we can talk about them on all these different levels. And I feel like today we haven't really gone into those details. So maybe we can have another session next time and really look at all these different levels at a societal level, the issue of race. How can we really change the narrative as Black people? How can we change this narrative? This notion that Black people are always late, this notion that Black people are always lazy, where does it come from? How can we change that narrative? Okay, when it comes to at the professional level, how would we change the narrative at the places of work? At personal level, issues of, all these issues. I think we can have this conversation at those different levels next time.
Yeah.
But having said that, one last person, and then we call it a day.
Yeah, by the way, thank you, Salome. For those who don't know, Salome is my lovely, beautiful wife. Okay, Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna clap for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the next item.
Hiding her face, by gorgeous. I mean, yeah, that's me.
Stevie, I was
Welcome,
going to
Grace.
ask you.
Welcome, Grace.
I said that was my next question. I was going to ask you whether she is your wife.
How did you know?
Because we got the same surname, isn't it?
Okay.
Ganya or whatever. Yeah, and she's beautiful.
You're right. Yes.
Wife. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Salome, isn't it? Nice name.
Yeah.
Yes, so thank you, ma. Thank you. And Auntie Grace.
Yes. Salome.
Odonko, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. From Ghana.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
from Ghana. Okay, God bless you.
Thank you, and you too. Now, it's been stimulating and thought-provoking as usual. Whenever I miss this session, this program, I cry. I was going to leave midway, but look at me, I'll stay to the end. So that tells you a lot.
The last one for today is like, you cannot stop the world from hating you or disliking you, but you can stop yourself from running away because the world dislike you.
Yes. It's all about you taking charge, isn't it? Taking control of your mind and everything, I always say people are at different levels, hierarchy of needs. If somebody hasn't met the physiological needs, do you want the person to think like you? There's Maslow hierarchy.
He talks a lot.
Yeah.
Grace, I'll contact you.
Yeah, I got to read
me. The information is down there.
Wonderful.
We have a lot to talk,
Yes.
Join me and we talk about the book.
Yeah, you got my number, so you call me. I haven't got your number, and we organize.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys. This has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you to Stephen, especially who's prepared such a wonderful presentation and got us going. Like I said, I think we'll continue this conversation next time. Please, guys, be great ambassadors of these conversations, and I really encourage you all to really raise these conversations with your communities. I mean, we record these sessions always, so I will be sharing this recording with you in our platforms. So when I do, please share it with other guys, because we really need to raise these conversations with our communities and really benefit from it all together. So thank you guys. And again, reiterating what Anthony was saying earlier about his book, The Wailing from the Bleeding Nations. He's been talking about it. He's been preparing for quite some time now. It's finally out. I'm really excited. Right after this, Anthony, I'm right on your case. I really need that copy as soon as, and I'll be a great ambassador of the great work you do. In case you guys are not aware of what Anthony is doing, Anthony is a great ambassador and a champion of change for young girls, especially in Sierra Leone, and he's doing fantastic work, albeit from this end, but a lot of work is done down in Sierra Leone, and he's not just that, he's doing lots of other works, lots of other charitable works, both here and abroad, and he's a fantastic guy if you've met him, if you've known him, and a great guy to know and work with. So yeah, so please support him, and not just support him. I'm sure there is a great lesson in that book and the great things that we can learn from it. So you'll not be disappointed. £14 is absolutely nothing. I was actually expecting for it to be more expensive than that, but £14 is peanuts compared to the amount of value and amount of information and amount of challenge and inspiration that as a community we can get from his book. So I highly encourage you to
Egypt is your second home.
I highly encourage you to go and buy that book. Whether that be on would you please mute yourself, Emeka, please? So I highly encourage you to go and buy that book, and whether that be on Amazon or directly through him. He's put his contacts there, so please be in touch. Saying that, thank you so much, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Nice seeing you all. See you again in 2 weeks' time. Take care.